right, while they're pulling the slides up, who knows about Fictiv? You ever heard about Fictiv? Yes, new customers, love it. Okay, but before I get to telling about Fictiv, who's building something here? Put your hand up. Okay. Are you building hardware? Put your hand up. Are you on a mechanical engineering team? Or, okay, supply chain team? Founders? Okay, cool, awesome, thank you. All right, so Fictiv, we simplify sourcing for mechanical components. Think anything custom. There's a cool company in New Jersey called Oishi. They make strawberries, vertical ag. We make all the racks and that kind of stuff, with a bunch of other things. So I'm one of the co-founders. Dave, my brother and I, we started the company 12 years ago. Probably died almost 3 times, and then the business was bought in June. So it's been a crazy journey. If you want to chat about that or I can help, please let me know. I'm going to talk a little bit about the next industrial revolution from a green standpoint. That's where we're coming from. So hopefully it's some things for founders out here to think about, opportunities to accelerate how we think about green manufacturing, as well as some of the trends that we're seeing in the commercialization of all this amazing climate tech. So one of the first things we always talk about is you got to think about the true price of production from a clean standpoint, right? If you think about the 8 major supply chains in the world, they produce over 50% of the greenhouse gases annually, every year. But Scope 3 emissions, while that's not now required by companies to track it, it's still the major problem, because understanding a supply chain and how it's networked is extremely difficult to do. To one, manage it, but 2, measure it. And if we can't measure it, we can't manage it. So there's a lot of work that we need to do as an industry, and just transitioning to clean energy, we know, isn't enough. The good thing is that startups, as a clean slate, have an opportunity to really think about things from the ground up. So I think a lot of people know the cradle-to-cradle principle. 95% of waste happens at the design stage, right? It's all about your material choices, your processes, how you're thinking about your supply chain and those logistics, how goods are moved and how information flows. So we always encourage teams to think about that from the get-go. It might not be the most sexy or entertaining thing for mechanical engineers, but it's critical to think about those low-impact materials. We came out with a product called Materials AI, for example. It's basically hooked up to an AI that says, of all these material choices and options, which one might give me this stiffness property or this strength performance, while also considering some of the greenhouse gas emissions. And obviously thinking about that full life cycle is key. When we think about building that clean economy, there's tons of climate technology companies out there that are working to make this happen. I get the awesome privilege to help usher some of that through. That's kind of my area of focus. EVs and batteries, vertical strawberry farms, different ways to capture carbon, energy storage, the list kind of goes on. What we try and enable and what we like to encourage is the iterative process of on-demand manufacturing and the ability to really test out your designs and those concepts early and often. Previously, when you had to manage a lot of suppliers, you had to think about going overseas a lot. That became super cumbersome. And so, I guess pop quiz, who do you think United Airlines' largest #1 customer is? Any guesses? United Airlines, who's the #1 customer? Apple? Anyone guess that? Think about all the engineers that fly from Cupertino to Shenzhen. They spend $150 million annually just to fly people, brute force, getting in factories, because hardware's hard. There's no easy way to do it traditionally, but be boots on the ground, triaging everything that's on the assembly line, every single design change, and working hand in hand with your partners to make that happen. And with new ways about thinking about technology like Fictiv, there's ways to be more conscious of how our development process works, the impact that we're having, and be more efficient with your time. And so the way the model works is we have those teams, boots on the ground in those factories, speak the local language, versus having to fly, across the Pacific every 2 weeks, which seems miserable, but they do it. We also do a lot of design for manufacturability and ways to give insight into different manufacturing processes and what that carbon impact potentially could be. And new supply chain models. The big opportunity Dave and I saw about 10 years ago was that the Fox Flex J bills, your traditional CMs, they were not going to touch a lot of the high mix, low volume climate tech solutions that were needed. We need to scale in the tens and hundreds of thousands, but we don't need 10 million iPhones every 2 weeks. So we needed to rethink what a supply chain looked like, what that partner network on decentralized manufacturing solution, how it would operate, and how we let customers leverage that right out of the box without having to fly across the Pacific or elsewhere. So we're big proponents. 2 case studies for you. This is a residential energy storage system. We help them cut lead times for their injection molding tools by 50%, save almost $1 million on that injection molding tooling because they could go with soft tooling versus hard in the early stages, to use the materials that were critical in their performance testing early on, which really helped them save design cycles and freed over hundreds of engineering hours, but kind of having this early partner that could give them that type of design for manufacturability feedback. And then ultimately, this other ag tech company I mentioned, Oishi, so that's them. They're making strawberries, super cool. If you guys see it in the grocery store, it's delicious. They have lots of different varieties. We've produced over 33,000 parts across 47 unique numbers. They have this mega farm out in New Jersey. It's hundreds of feet, rows. Robots pick the strawberries. I was blown away. So people are doing some amazing things out there, and yeah, we get to be a part of it. Our state of manufacturing, if anyone's curious about stats and facts about challenges, hurdles, how to accelerate ways to do more clean manufacturing. This is our 9th year in a row that we've published this report. There's some really good information about sustainability trends, about other resources that you can get access to. There isn't a link here, but you can just search Fictiv State of Manufacturing. And I think we've covered a lot of this already. So if you have questions, I'm just nate@fictiv.com. Would love to chat, and wishing you all the best of luck in your own journey. So thank you.